welcome to the WeCare Frontshop Assistant training. This is a 6-part video series and each video will be roughly half an hour long. The reason we're doing these videos is that we've recently done the pharmacy owners training, and this was based on recession-proofing your business. One of the key things that we were discussing in this training was that our pharmacists and our owners need to invest in their staff. And one of the ways of investing in your staff is obviously to provide them with good quality training. And that's how these video series came about. In this first video, we're going to look at 3 topics. We're going to look at customer service versus the customer experience, that all-important first impression, and how to build your relationships with your customers. Every person involved in the business is tied to the results of the business. Our everyday interactions really do have a bearing on the way that we build and maintain our relationships with our co-workers and our customers, and that in turn has an absolute direct bearing on the health of our business. What makes independent pharmacy, what makes your pharmacy stand apart from the big corporates like Clicks or Dis-Chem? It is the ability and the willingness to really get to know our patients and to build those relationships. It's the commitment that you can make to being a partner in your patient's healthcare. Let's take a quick look at customer service. I want you to think about the stores that you go back to over and over and over again. Now think about why you go back to those stores. I bet there are probably 6 reasons. You're either going back there because it's fast, because the price is good, quality is good, there's luxury, it's user-friendly, or customer service. Delivering world-class customer care means having the capacity to provide a memorable experience to each and every individual customer who walks to your door. World-class customer care is not about meeting expectations, it's about exceeding your customers' expectations and looking for the opportunities to provide unexpected wow moments in unique ways. If you think about it, the customer is the rater of your service. Customers are going to evaluate the level of customer service that they get according to 6 main criteria, and we're going to cover those quickly. Reliability, so providing a constant service level, delivering promises accurately and timelessly. 2 is assurance, your ability to convey a feeling of trust to your customers, your knowledge, your competence, your courtesy. 3rd is the tangibles, the physical condition of your facilities, equipment, your pharmacy, your personal appearance. Empathy, having the capacity to understand, being aware of and sensitive to the feelings, thoughts and experiences of your customers. I'm going to look at that a little bit more in-depthly in a minute. And lastly, responsiveness. How soon do you solve your customers' issues, their problems, their concerns? In other words, how fast is your reaction to your customers' wants and needs and requirements? Let's come back to that empathy. Let's touch a little bit more on the empathy element. What is the difference between sympathy and empathy? Sympathy involves identifying with and even taking on another person's emotions. So a sympathetic response would be, I'm really angry about that too. Whereas empathy means acknowledging and affirming the other person's emotional state. So an empathetic response would be, I can understand why that makes you angry. Responding to your customers with sympathy, in other words, getting as upset as they are, puts you on an emotional roller coaster. It can leave you worn out and frazzled at the end of the day. And we in a pharmacy, we see so many different people and so many different clients with so many different health problems or family problems. We really can't afford to take that on for ourselves. So the trick is to be emotionally aware and sensitive without becoming too emotionally involved. When you respond with empathy, you can stay calm, you can stay in control of yourself. Only then can you be your absolute best. You can be ready, willing, and able to help your customers meet their needs and solve their problems. Showing empathy for customers allows you to be professional, allows you to be caring at the same time. It also makes your customers feel that they're important and what they say matters. Empathy can't be handed out by a machine. There's no robot who can show empathy. This is something that one person does for another. And that is what makes us stand out from the big corporates of the world. So let's have a look at customer service versus a customer experience. Customer service is reactive. It's here, it's now, it's a response. Customer experience, however, is proactive. Customer service is just about customer satisfaction. It's what can I do for you? How can I help you? It's what we do every day in pharmacy. Customer experience, on the other hand, is the entire experience. From the minute they make contact with us, whether that's when they walk through our door, whether they've spotted us on social media or on our websites, it's the minute they make contact with us right through until they're done. So the minute they leave our store again. What is the, put your pharmacy name here, experience? What is the Baker Street experience? What is the WeCare experience? Let's think about this quickly. If we compare customer service to customer experience, let's think about it as if we were in the dating world. Customer service would be just like dating. You meet somebody, you go out for a couple of times, you have a nice time, but there's no spark, there's nothing special. Customer experience, on the other hand, has all the spark, all the feels. This is the one you're going to marry. Now, marriage is what we're looking for. It's engagement, it's loyalty, it's commitment. And that's what we want from our customers. That's how we keep our businesses from falling into recession. We have our customers coming back over and over and over again. And this is how we beat the Dis-Chems and the Clicks in the world. And once we start thinking about it this way, there's a giant leap from just customer satisfaction to actual customer engagement and customer loyalty. Here's one more thing I'd like you to think about. When your customers come into your store and they're telling somebody else about your store, what is it that they say? Is there a but in their recommendation? This pharmacy is great. They have friendly staff, but they do this right. They have good stock, but I'd like you to discuss this with your colleagues, your pharmacists and owners, and think about the one thing that you can change or do differently so that that shadow of the but is eliminated. That's when your offering will go from customer service to customer experience. So let's look at the two things that can help you move from customer service to customer experience. And that, of course, is your first impressions and your customer connections. Starting with that all-important first impression. Did you know it takes only 3 to 5 seconds for someone to form a first impression? And while we might wish that that opinion were based on our intelligence or our experience, most studies show that that first impression is shaped by what can be seen and heard in those initial few seconds. So what impression are you creating? According to a study by a Harvard Business School psychologist, when meeting someone for the first time, we form not one, but 2 impressions. We're judging how warm and trustworthy the person is. In other words, that's trying to answer the question, what are this person's intentions towards me? We're also asking ourselves, how strong and competent is this person? Now, her research shows that these 2 traits, trustworthiness and confidence, account for 80 to 90% of first impressions. If I'd shown up looking like this today, i.e. wearing my gym clothes, would I have looked like I were competent enough to deliver this training? What about if I'd worn this? It's a perfectly fine dress. It's just not appropriate for in the pharmacy. More appropriate for a Friday night out with the girls. This, however, is far more appropriate for the pharmacy. What about for the guys? I'd say this is a little informal. Great for a day out on the beach maybe, or a day out with the guys. What about this? Perfect for a wedding, perfect for a special occasion, not quite appropriate for pharmacy. This, pretty much perfect. So what I'm trying to get at here is that you have to present yourself appropriately. And when it comes to making the first impression, body language as well as appearance speaks much louder than words. Ensure that you're dressed appropriately. You want to look professional, trustworthy, confident. What about your grooming? You want to be clean and tidy in your appearance, and you want to have a good haircut or shave if you're for the guys, clean and tidy clothes, neat and tidy makeup for the girls, probably not 8-inch heels for the girls. Those feet will kill you at the end of the day. Make sure your grooming is appropriate and helps you feel the part. Let's look at body language. Your body language should be relaxed, confident, and comfortable. Use your body language to project appropriate confidence and self-assurance. Stand tall, smile, make eye contact, and greet appropriately. Firm handshake if that's possible. All of this will make you project confidence and encourage both you and the other person to feel better at ease. Don't forget the award-winning smile. As the saying goes, smile and the world smiles with you. So there's nothing like a smile to create a great first impression. A warm and confident smile will put both you and the other person at ease. Smiling is a winner when it comes to making a great first impression. But don't go overboard with this. People who take this too far can seem completely insincere and smarmy, or it might seem like they're just lightweights. And remember your greeting. A good, firm greeting will go a long way in starting to build that connection, which is where we're going to move on to next. This brings us to building connections and relationships with our customers. Independent pharmacies are in a unique position to be in tune with their local communities and in touch with their customers. I love going to my local Italian restaurant. And I'll tell you why. When I walk in there, I feel like I'm walking into a place that feels like home. I walk in and the people know my name. The owner comes over and asks how we're doing, how the family is. And I really do feel like I'm at home. So they're not the most convenient. They're not even the cheapest Italian restaurant in my neighborhood. Pizza Perfect would deliver on a rainy night, but it's worth going out on a rainy night to my local Italian restaurant because I feel like I'm part of the family. And whenever I walk in there, I have the soundtrack to the old Cheers comedy in my head. And it always plays over and over in my mind. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. So one of the biggest and easiest ways for you to build that connection with your customers is to learn to know or learn their names. And we can help you with that. We have a report that your pharmacy owners get every week with the top 50 customers. Go and ask your pharmacy owner for that list. Learn your customer's name. Building that customer rapport is what will keep your customers coming back. So let's look at a couple of things you can consider while building rapport. Smile. Try to smile more when you're with your customers. The way you show your enjoyment in the relationship, the more at ease and comfortable your customer will feel. Genuinely compliment your customer. Few people actually do this. If you can't genuinely compliment your customer, then don't do it. Nothing kills rapport more quickly than a phony compliment, and our customers will hear it. So try and find something you can genuinely compliment her on. Her earrings, a good haircut. If they're irregular, you'll notice these things. Take a genuine interest in your customer. Most people see through feigned interest, and when they do, you'll fail to build that connection that you desire. Choose the right time to ask about their hobbies, their families, their interests. Find something that you might have in common with them, and try and share this with your customer, and talk about this to break the ice. Listen carefully. Another strategy to developing connections with your customers is to listen actively, and we'll cover that in our next video. Give them your total and undivided attention. Try and avoid interruptions and distractions like the phone ringing or people calling you from across the room. Make your customers feel as if they are the center of your universe. You not only need to listen to what your customers are saying, but you need to listen carefully. Active listening means paying attention, asking questions, restating the message to make sure you understand what the customer is saying and what they're asking. Also bear in mind that when we're in pharmacy, we sometimes deal with emotional customers. They may come in and have received bad news, or they may not want to talk about a sensitive subject. So when you're listening, ask the right questions and the appropriate questions to try and get the right information from your customers. Try to speak your customer's language. Don't try and impress your customers with lots of jargon and technical terms that they're not going to understand. It'll go right over their heads and you might end up confusing them and alienating them. Assume your customers know very little about what you do. Use clear and simple language to express what you have to offer and try and explain clearly what you're saying. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand. Don't disagree immediately. Another way to kill rapport is to immediately disagree with your customer or to appear argumentative. While agreeing with your customer can be a powerful tool for building rapport, disagreeing can be equally powerful for destroying that rapport. When your customers say something you agree with, let them know that you clearly and empathetically agree. Couldn't agree more with you. When customers say something you may not agree with, don't immediately disagree, no matter what you think. Try and focus instead on where you do agree, or try to see the customer's point of view. Consider saying something like, I agree with you, or I can appreciate how you may feel, or I never thought of it that way. That's an interesting way to look at it. And lastly, choose your battles. When you disagree with the client, make sure that you oppose the point and not the person. Keep in mind that any battle with a customer has only one winner, and that's the customer. He or she can always take their business somewhere else, and then you've lost. You will not build lifetime connections and relationships with customers by making them feel like they're not intelligent or that they've made poor choices. You will build your relationships by gently pointing out faulty thinking, sharing your expertise, and offering creative solutions. There's one last thing I'd like to add to this video, and that is how to deal with a challenging customer. Stay calm. Nothing will fuel your customer's anger more than you getting as worked up as they are. Remember to let your customer vent. Often a customer will feel better just having gotten the words off of their chest. So allow them to vent, allow them to get the full problem out into the open, and then deal with the emotion first. Remember that when dealing with the emotion, to try and avoid emotional trigger words. Trigger words, for instance, such as policy. Nobody likes to hear that it's pharmacy policy that they cannot get what they want, or that they cannot be helped when they want to be helped. So try this instead. Here's what we can do. Another trigger word, of course, is can't. Always try to rephrase it into something positive. We can't do this, but we can help you in this way. No, I don't know. Is often much better. Give me a minute, I'll go and find out. And that all important but. Nobody likes to hear but in the middle of a sentence. Try and change that to and. You should have sounds very accusational. Rather try things like what others have found helpful. The last emotional trigger phrase is the only thing we can do. Rather try and phrase that such as a good option for you would be. That brings us to the end of video 1. What we'd like you to do is to answer the questionnaire that has been sent to you and to now email that back to us. Please also remember to send us some feedback and any questions that you have. Remember at the beginning of the video, we were talking about the but scenario, and I'd asked you to email me what your discussions were with your pharmacy owners and your colleagues. So please remember to send that to me as well. In the next video, we're going to look at communication skills. Remember, a satisfied customer is the best business strategy of all. Thank you. Until next time.